Hello, welcome to The Sun and the Moon, a show hosted by myself, Luna, at Luna All Day, and
Alexandria Irons, Queen of the Sungrown. And today we have one of my favorite growers, Kimmie from Jackalope Farms.
What up? I'm Kimmie from Jackalope Farms out in Oklahoma.
But you've been all over the place. You were growing in Maine and Humboldt and Oklahoma. So you have a lot of experience growing outdoor in all kinds of different climates. I mean, experience is the best teacher. So you got some things to teach us.
Yeah, I think I've learned so much from growing in different environments versus like anything I could like even ever read about. Just like experience does just make it bring a lot more out. Like Oklahoma, totally, like I've had to change everything how I used to grow in Humboldt, like completely different.
Like what?
Yeah, what do you have to change?
Jinx.
Basically everything. So when I came out to Oklahoma, there was like no organic supplies. Like there were so many things I couldn't get a hold of. Like I couldn't even find like non-glyphosate hay, which I love using that for a mulch, but I can't trust anything out here. So finding the right inputs, and then soil, like all the soilless media stuff, everyone was trying to sell for like $400 a yard, or you'd have to ship it in from like bag soil from California. So that wasn't even an option for me. So that's why we even did like the hugelkultur pits, because it was just like, we got to figure something out. Let's just build soil. Because I'm not buying it from California. I'm not buying peat moss from California to ship here.
Yeah, that's crazy. What about like environmentally? What are some like environmental challenges that you've kind of learned through growing in all these different places?
Yeah, so environmentally, like so many different pests. Like I'm still like using my Google camera like every other day, being like, what the hell is that bug? To learn what it is in Oklahoma. And they also like come in waves. So like the first year, like leaf hoppers came, there's these like little green bugs, and they ride in on thunderstorms, which is crazy. So they come in with the thunderstorms, and then like caddis flies come after them. But the first time I saw them here, there were like so many. I'm like, am I gonna have to like do something crazy? And then they kind of go away after 3 weeks. So now every year I'm like, okay, this is like the 3 weeks of leaf hoppers. They don't really mess too much up. And then like grasshoppers come, and then there's a lot of like fungus pressure where I'm at. So leaf spot fungus, leaf septoria is like very common out here. So I've basically eliminated any genetics that is prone to that type of stuff. So I only have a couple that I see little spots on, and then I've like found the like products to really fight it. It really comes around July and August. You have to like watch it. So it was really just like learning the new, like every single month is a different tactic on like how to deal with the entire grow.
It sounds like
It sounds
like you know the cycle now and can kind of anticipate what's coming next.
Yeah, definitely a lot of anticipation and setting up your depths at the right time and making sure you're not flowering during certain times of the year. So really just dialing all that in. And this year's been we haven't had any disasters. So.
Well, it sounds like you're doing like a little bit less work this year compared to last year with trying to pull off 4 harvests last year. You're on 2 this year, possibly a 3rd one, right? That's what you're considering, maybe.
Yeah, I know.
I've actually had a lot of people reaching out to me lately about septoria. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? So septoria is a fungal pathogen. It's represented by a small brown yellow circle on the leaf surface, and a lot of times it can be confused with maybe like a burn mark if you were like to splash water or something in the heat of the day. I don't know. What have you learned of septoria? What are the steps that you're taking? What do you do? Can you walk us through that IPM plan a little bit?
Totally. Yeah. So the first time I saw it was actually in Maine when I was growing out there. So like that high humidity, and I never really got it in Humboldt. I never saw it there that I could think of.
Yeah, I've never
So
heard of it
in
in
Maine,
California really either.
yeah, so Maine, I really like went down this like crazy rabbit hole. I'm like, what the hell? It's about to take out my whole grow. So that was like rust spot fungus, which they're kind of similar, acting the same, and then you'd use them the same way. So rust is like a rust color, and then yeah, leaf septoria is like this. There's like dots, and then it can expand, and there's like usually a bright yellow ring around it, and like it'll turn all the leaves yellow and dotty, maybe starting from the bottom, but it could be at the top. And so around this time, it comes from my, like, I know it comes from like my surrounding woods because it's on like everything out here. So I've been spraying oxyphos on like all my trees around everything, which is like an acid, semi-systemic, but it kind of just like a boosts the immune system of the plant for like 3 weeks and then like goes away. It's a cool product.
What is that again? Oxy what?
Oxyphos from Biosafe. It's like the only thing I've really found that's made the difference on like these extreme like 90% humidity nights and stuff. And then I hit religiously with xerotol through like the entire like July and August, basically.
Xerotol?
Yeah, xerotol 2.0, just like a hydrogen peroxide type spray. So it sucks when you're using microbials too, so you really have to like rotate. So I'm like always like kind of like rotating around. But if I haven't found a microbial solution that has been strong enough to like deal with it. And I would love to, like, yeah, I've like sprayed the shit out of like cease type stuff, like Bacillera.
Have you tried treating it in the soil?
I haven't messed with the soil that much.
So I've seen septoria. I've seen septoria quite a bit on different people's farms, and a lot of the time they'll get it after using like a like improperly composted like mushroom compost, something that kind of like went anaerobic that had a lot of like fruiting mushroom bodies in it, and then they introduce it to their soil and they see it on the leaves. So I believe, if I understand correctly, that a lot of the time it's a problem in the soil that you can outcompete by addressing the issue in the soil itself.
Ooh, that's very interesting. I only use rabbit compost, but I do use compost a lot out here, so maybe that's something to look at for sure. But it's usually only on my outdoor. I don't really see it in my greenhouses.
Interesting.
It could just be native in the soil, you know?
Yeah, so the outdoor is like, I like drilled out holes in my native soil. Like my native soil is rock and clay. So there's like, it's like really hard to grow in. So I like drilled out big holes and then backfilled with like a better soil, like a topsoil that I made. But I'm sure it's just like out here. And yeah, maybe I should like spray all the native soil, but then it's like how much work.
Well, you could just water in like trichoderma and lactobacillus, and it might, those like really voracious.
I use trichoderma a lot.
In the soil?
Right. Yeah, totally. Water in and I use it a lot. I love it. But July and August is just an ass kicker out here. The fungus is strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Elliot, like when I was helping him out the year before last, that's his biggest complaint was like mold, mildew, and going for, like you said, choosing strains that are known to be mold resistant and just having the experience with those genetics. I find things with like limonene and lemons tend to not have a lot of fungal pathogens. And ice cream cake, man. Ice cream cake, it's hardy, but nobody wants it anymore.
Yeah. I have a friend that like only grows ice cream cake and it looks beautiful all year round. I got a little cut of it, so we're growing a little bit of it this year. But I know people don't like it. I'm like, oh, okay. But the market is like, yeah. And then like people who smoke it are like, wow, that shit got me so high.
I know. And it smells so good. Oh well.
Yeah. But I definitely like have my strains.
I wonder about like the sulfur root drench even.
That'd be interesting. I'm always like, I never want to mess with my soil too much because I like love it. I'm like, I don't want to kill anything in it.
Yeah.
You could try to like
But yeah.
heat it super hot, like in the summertime. You know, like try to get it like super hot, just like kill off the fungus.
Yeah.
Is another idea.
Yeah, I mean, it is just super hot. But it needs to get like way hotter. I do like, so between every greenhouse run, I close my greenhouses and like bake them for like 5 days. They get like 140 in there at least. I don't know. I go in there and the temperature gauge doesn't work anymore, just to kill everything.
So how is it growing with hugelkulturs? I've never done that before. Do you really like it?
I love it. It is like, I'm obsessed with it. I didn't think I was like never like, I'm gonna grow in these giant hugelkultur beds. It wasn't like this like dream of mine to like do it like this. Everyone thinks I'm like really obsessed with hugelkultur, but now I kind of am. But it was just like the only option. It was like, this is the only way this farm is gonna work with the soil with the property that we bought. And I like didn't want to do raised beds, and like I said, I didn't want to buy a bunch of peat moss, because I used to do like, the 10-foot beds in Humboldt, hoop house, 12 inches high with soilless media base. That's how I like learned to grow. But I was trying to get away from that, and also I couldn't afford that much soil when we started this farm. I'm like, there's no way I can afford $100,000 in soil. So the hugelkultur was like. Also, we had dead trees everywhere. We bought raw land, so we had it cleared, and then there's just wood everywhere. And then I started doing hugelkultur in California because the drought. I actually got in a fight with like one of my partners because I wanted to have a veggie garden, and he's like, "No, all the water needs to go to the weed." And I was like, "Fuck you! Like, I'm gonna make a hugelkultur so I can have a vegetable garden." And like grew the like hugest tomato plants ever. And that's really where it all speared from. And now it's like so easy. Like a reishi mushroom came out of my hugelkultur pit in my weed plant, and I was like,
"That's
this
awesome.
is the ultimate. This is the coolest thing I've done." And yeah, there's so many different types of mushrooms now. So they're about 2 years. They're 2.5 years old, and I barely have to do anything with them. Like I get soil tests. Barely amend. I like rely on compost a lot, and then like teas, compost extracts, microbial solutions, that type of stuff. And they don't take as much water, so I don't have to water nearly as much as like I had these 30-gallon pots, like smart pots outside this summer that I loathed. I threw them all. I didn't throw them away, but I dumped them all out. And I refuse to go to Smart Pot again in Oklahoma just because it's so hot.
Yeah, man. So many people are like planting in pots above ground when they have land. They have the soil, the native soil. And I'm like, dude, like you didn't have hardly any soil to begin with. You built it all up. And there's so many different ways. It's just like learning, figuring out, assessing your land, assessing the resources that you have available. And you literally made some dank ass lemonade with some lemons, with some rocky clay. But
right.
Me and Luna love clay around here, so I'm sure you do too. Hi, CEC.
I love the clay. It's the rocks. Like, me and these rocks. Oh my god, they like trip me all the time. I have like multiple videos of like our security footage of me just like eating shit. It's a fucking rock. But yeah, I watch like. I love what you guys do, and like I kind of want to like pick your brain, Luna, more on like how to like more large scale, like make your like recipes like super large scale. Like how could you scale them out to like making 600 gallons of.
So like I've thought about this a lot, right? Because I don't want to sit and like blend like beets a whole bunch or something, like these plant things that I'm using. And there's like there's companies that provide like freeze dried beet juice powder that I've tried before.
Ooh.
that works pretty well. I think that that's a good alternative, although I'm not sure like the viability of some of the compounds that like I'm chasing, like the nitric oxide and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, supposedly they're not damaged like during freeze drying. But who knows, like with storage and transportation. But I know that, you know, you're probably going to get like the anulin, like that polysaccharide from it still. So you could try that out if you want to try it.
Yeah.
The aloe vera one is going to be kind of tricky. There are companies though that like provide like bulk freeze dried aloe vera, and I'm pretty sure that some of the names that you hear that sell it are getting it from them and multiplying the price point on it. I have the website actually in my
I have a really good hookup on freeze dried aloe. I bought 5 kilos from a farm in Mexico, so I don't have to, because I just don't have time to blend up things. I'm sorry, Luna, I love that, but I got a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
So I bought 5 kilos of freeze dried aloe, and it is, I'm not going to name the name of the company that sells aloe, resells it, but that's super expensive. Their aloe is like more like fish flakes, you know, like fish food, like flaky aloe. This aloe I got is like micronized and so nice to blend into teas. I will send you a sample. I'll send you a bag of it because it's so good.
Nice.
Yeah,
I have a freeze dryer, so I was like, I'm gonna make my own aloe power with all my time. So I like got a bunch of aloe leaves and then put them in the freeze dryer, like packed. I was like, okay, let's just pack this in. It took like 2 days for it to all like freeze dry down. And yeah, it's like it turns in the leaves are just like, it looks like styrofoam. So then I got that and I just like powdered it all up and I keep it in my freezer. But I noticed if I keep it out like in the world and if it has any chance to rehydrate, it turns pink.
Yeah, it oxidizes.
Like as it's rotting. Huh?
Yeah, it starts to oxidize.
Yeah, so like
cool
when it oxidizes, it turns pink.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
It's cool. I love watching that. I've heard people say that like, oh, it's better when it starts to turn pink, and that's when it's like the most active. But I don't think that's true. No, I don't think it's true. I think it's just oxidizing.
Bullshit.
Some of that bro science.
Bro science. I love that everyone's like really breaking down the bro science.
Yes, there's a lot of it.
Because I grew up I like learned to grow weed in bro science land, and like some of the things. Like,
yeah, my favorite one was like, oh, you have to let the soil dry out like in between waterings, you know?
Oh yeah, the dry back.
Let the soil dry out all the way. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
This isn't. We're not pumping dumping in Rockwool cubes. Like,
break the branch.
Oh yeah, you got to break the branch. Put a screw through the stalk. That's a good one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they like being tortured.
What's another good one? What's another good one?
The bro science.
Bro science.
Oh, the root bound thing, like really tight, crazy.
Oh roots. Yeah, that's great. The flexing, the root bound roots, pulling it out. Look at these roots.
Oh yeah,
like pulling out the whole plant. Like the plant's so happy.
Like, oh yeah, healthy. Flexing arm emoji, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
With how profound it is.
Dude, how many aloe plants did you have? Because somebody came to the Living Soil class. One of them, I can't remember where. Maybe it was in Oklahoma, and they gave me 1 ounce of freeze-dried aloe that they made for me, and they said it took the entire plant for 1 ounce.
Yeah. That's what I was getting to. Yeah, you did not get very much. I was like, I think it's like more conducive to just buy it.
Yeah, you'd have to have like a whole nother section of your farm dedicated to growing aloe.
Yeah. Unless you're like small scale, like for home growers, hell yeah, you could totally. And you had a freeze dryer, totally doable. Large scale. So that's where I have to like balance a lot of that. Like there's a lot of things I would love to do, but large scale and time, it's like some things like don't work, which sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Aloe for
And
what
you're down
somebody
in-
says
Why things.
in the chat. Aloe. Let's talk about aloe, you guys. We're like, we all love aloe. We use aloe. The people in the chat are like, what the hell? Aloe contains salicylic acid. It helps heal a plant from any kind of stress, so like tissue damage. I use it in every foliar application. I like using it in teas. It's packed full of all kinds of amazing scientific things. Luna, what are the names of the things besides salicylic acid?
There's a really nice polysaccharide called I think it's pronounced cinnamon.
Yeah.
And then it has 19 of the 20 amino acids. It has B vitamins in it. It is a natural saponin source. It's great. Oh, and it contains auxin, but I don't know if it's viable after you blend it up and then water it in, if that auxin is really going to have any influence on your plant.
Yeah, I've seen people like, people you rooting, like putting the cut inside of the fresh chopped aloe spear. I've never done that, but
I've seen people do that.
I put it in my clone water.
Oh yeah,
your clone water.
Cool. Yeah, so like when I'm cutting clones, I'll like put some of the freeze dried stuff in it, and then I also have like
really good for your skin.
Oh, go ahead.
You can just spray it on your face. I
know, I need it. I'm like a lobster.
You're blending it up and you get on your hands, you just wipe it all over you like while you're in the garden. I'm just kidding, you'll get really
beauty secrets.
But, yeah, garden beauty secrets. And then you eat a little bit of the soil and no, I'm just kidding, don't do that.
Yeah. Don't eat the soil. Maybe eat the soil.
Don't eat the soil. Don't eat the soil.
I definitely have a friend who like says he eats every single food, like plant food. He's like, I'm always tasting this shit. And I'm like, what the hell?
Okay. I mean, aspergillus is a real thing, you know? It's a real thing.
He's like, that shit was just fulvic acid. I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, sure it is. You know, there's things in soil that are going to be good for you. There's things in soil that are not going to be good for you, especially, you know, like Pseudomonas species and stuff. If you're like immunocompromised, I don't recommend like deep inhaling your soil, you know, if you're prone to illness. But
yeah.
What are your thoughts on soil like makes your microbes in your body happier? Have you heard that?
So I have heard that. So I mean, like having a healthy gut biome, you know, has a connection to like our like serotonin production and stuff like that. And some of the microbes in our gut are similar to some of the microbes in our soil. I still wouldn't eat my soil.
I'm not gonna eat it, but being around it, like they say, like gardeners like get happier.
I don't know.
I think so. I believe that they do because the power of intention. We talked about this, Luna. You believe it. It's gonna happen.
Sure.
Okay?
It's like white paper.
I mean, if you get it on your hands, is it gonna get in your gut? I don't know.
I mean, I definitely get some things under my fingernails, and I don't wash my hands all the time, like really, really good, to make sure that every single piece of dirt is out from under my fingernail. And I'm definitely a finger food eater. I don't like using utensils. You should see all of my glasses have greasy handprints because I'm always eating with my food. So I know that those microbes are in me, and I think I'm happier than people who don't garden. But that's totally anecdotal. So I think all three of us are happier than, you know, people who aren't gardening, who are just sitting on their computer and have like sterile environment with no microbes and take antibiotics every day. But that's just like completely, you know, that's a woo-woo, I guess.
Yeah, that's woo-woo. I mean,
I believe it though.
Outside and being in
what
the sun,
is even happiness?
Being active. What is happiness?
I'm kidding.
It's an old wooden ship. Yeah, I mean, being outside and active. Sorry,
I wanted to ask you about your freeze dryer because you brought it up that you have it, and I know that you were making some bubble hash. Yes. Are you still? What's going on? Do you have some? What's going on with the market? You got bubble hash, rosin. What other products? What you got going on in Oklahoma?
Right now I'm just doing flour. I've been so freaking busy. Like also I don't have a cold room, so making hash in the winter here is like way easier. I'm not gonna make it in 90-degree weather while I'm dying. So I have some friends hopefully building a cold room very soon. So maybe spin in some hash. The freeze dryer. I don't really have those products out there. It's really just flour.
Okay.
Kind of like the market right now is like really good. A lot of people have gone out of business in Oklahoma. There's very few sun growers left. I can like count them on my hand, and then everything else is indoor. So we've really hit like a sweet spot as far as the market goes for like our pricing and quality. So the flower's just flying. Like I can't trim it fast enough.
Don't tell me you're trimming too. God.
I was, but thank goodness I have a trimming angel that came and she is like taking over the trimming. So appreciate. We did like all the trimming for the past year, and I think, like years ago, I'm like, I'm never gonna trim again, and then like Oklahoma humbled my ass for sure.
Yeah,
the trim room.
Definitely. I mean, especially when pounds are going for prices were what, like 300, 250 I was hearing in Oklahoma last year, and like that's just crazy. How can you even pay somebody to trim that? Like
you can't.
You have to do it yourself and then just eat it as like a business expense, I guess.
Yeah. Last year was rough. Last year kicked our ass for sure.
But you're here, you're strong, and better than
very
ever.
Hard-headed, I think.
Flowers flying off the shelves. Are you selling it in like ounces, eighths, or is it just units, full pounds to the dispensaries?
Just pounds, yeah. So I kind of have like this whole other side that is just taking the pounds, and then they do whatever. Like the brokers, they're like doing their thing. They're really like brokers. I know. I have like the loveliest brokers. I really appreciate them too, because honestly, I hate going from like dispensary to dispensary being like, here's my song and dance. And they're like, fuck organic. We don't care about sun grown.
Oh my God.
Can I get this for $400? And you're like, oh my God. It's rough. It's a rough market. Eventually. It's getting better, but I like can't, like, it takes so much energy for me to like do the sales. I really appreciate the brokers. I'm like, y'all have a hard job.
Man, I love selling
more
weed.
People are like, huh?
I said I love selling weed. I love going to dispensaries.
You should come here, be my broker. Be our sales team. Like, yeah, it takes a lot out of me. I don't know. I'm an introvert. Like,
I hate it. I'm with you, Kimmie. I don't want to deal with it. Let someone else deal with it.
Wow,
yeah,
man.
I'll take the.
I get thrills.
Yes. And I'm also like I'm so fast to just give my product away. Like, you can just have it. It's okay.
Oh man, no. All that hard work.
See, that's why we need you. We need you out here, like wheeling and dealing for me.
I want everyone to try it. Like, look how much better it tastes than that crap you're getting from the dispensary. You feel the difference. Feel the therapeutic effects. You know.
So what's your recipe? I want to know for your favorite like compost tea. Like, what are you doing for your recipe? Because you said you're pretty much doing water only with just like a couple, teas here and there. So what's your go-to?
Yeah, so I'll just like amend based off soil tests, and then I'm like upping my calcium, kind of front loading with calcium and then nitrogen, like a soy amino nitrogen or soy meal, and then a bunch of calcium throughout the season, and then a bunch of silica. I've been really upping my silica because
strengthen those cell walls.
Yeah, the cell walls. Yeah. I'm like trying to like experiment, like see how much I can push the silica, honestly, to see how much if it does fight bugs as people are claiming. But anyways, for the compost tea recipe, mine's super basic. So I like also with the market and the regulations that I have to like bend over backwards for, the heavy metal testing here is really strict. So a lot of the things that I would usually use and love to use, I like can't use anymore because they'll have like some arsenic or cadmium in them. So like, you know, any kelp products off the shelf, can't use them anymore. Any guanos, which like guano is kind of like evil anyways, because you're like killing bat colonies and stuff, I guess. But that has a shit ton of cadmium in it. So all the stuff I used to use, don't use anymore. I basically only use rabbit compost, rabbit, wood chip, worm castings, that type of style. And then I add a fulvic acid. So I'm trying to go for like a more fungal dominant compost tea. And that's about it. Like, I don't use much anymore because like I don't trust it. Like if I fail a heavy metals test, I've only failed one, and that was like 4 years ago. So that really sent me down this rabbit hole. I'm like, where's all the heavy metals hiding? Because that was like another thing that was never, people didn't talk about that 10 years ago. It was never a thing. So now it's a huge thing in my head. So that's about all I use.
Do you have biochar in your soil?
I do, yeah. So I like have a biochar pit.
Hell yeah.
And like, that's one of the nice things. I have so much wood material on this property. So that's like really what I've used. Like this woods have built this farm. So a lot of biochar. So I make a biochar pit, burn it down, crush it up, and then throw it all around. Throw it on everything.
So is your pit, how are you getting like reducing the oxygen for the pyrolysis? What are your, like, how did you make your kiln?
So yeah, there's like, yeah, you can like look it up on YouTube and stuff, but it's like the pit method to make biochar. So you like,
oh, like how they do it in the Amazon?
Yeah. So you like dig this huge pit, and then yeah, since I have so much brush, I have so much wood here, it's freaking everywhere. Like I'm trying to like reduce it because yeah, I'm also like cleaning up also doing like forestry stuff out here, trying to clean up these woods that were a total mess. Mm-hmm. So constantly having a wood supply and just like burning it down. So making a huge pile, thick stuff, some brush in there, and then starting the fire on top, and then it burns down through the pile, and that's where it gets like heat enough, and then you like rinse it up, hose it off.
Okay.
So I should make a video of me doing it one of these days.
Yeah, that would be cool. Lots of people like to do, you know, the DIY things, and biochar is getting really popular. I mean, again, it's been around for like 10,000 years, but I just bring it up because I was talking to a professor at the University of Gonzaga here in Washington, and he is working with the waste reclamation. My aunt works for the county doing like, what are the things in soil from like railroads, PCBs or something? There's an acronym. It's some kind of contaminant from like railroads. And so she goes in and tests the soil and cleans it up. And she was talking to this professor, and she gave me his contact information. This is a whole roundabout story, but it's all just about how biochar can help clean up and remediate heavy metals, pollutants, and all kinds of things. So I wonder if like you adding in more biochar, if that would help, like, you know, if you wanted to use kelp again one day or something.
Yeah, you know. I've also heard that like humic acid like will reduce if you like really up your humics. They'll like surround the heavy metal and not make it available to the plant. But I don't have
trying to hold on to it. And biochar and humic acids together like increase the passivating powers of each other. They like work together, so it's pretty cool.
Have you ever heard of zeolite?
What is it?
Zeolite.
No. Zeolite. What is it?
So that's another one that it has like this really interesting molecular structure. It's a mineral. I think it's also technically like a clay. That will absorb heavy metals and hold on to them. You should check it out.
I need to.
Zeolite.
Yeah.
Zeolite.
Did we talk about this? Is this in cat litter?
Yeah, it is in cat litter because it like it'll absorb odors and all sorts of stuff. But I put it in my soil.
You think I should put that in soil?
Yeah, it's in my soil. I mean, I wouldn't put kitty litter in your soil, but like, you know, you can get like straight zeolite and introduce it into soil. That's Very what I have it in my soil. I've been growing in it for a while now. A couple of years.
Yeah, your plants are amazing. So, and your monster plants. I got some of your seeds. I got some of Luna's seeds. Like a couple months ago, and I almost popped them, but then they just wouldn't be big. Like I got them in the middle of the summer. I'm like, if I start them now, they're not going to be giant. So I have to wait for next year.
Okay. I was so hoping to hear like, oh, they had 100% germination rate and they're huge. But I'm just kidding. Just let me know how they do for you.
I'm going monster. I used to grow monsters in Humboldt, like the 16-foot tall, 20-foot tall plants. Not 20, 16. I think 16. I think was my biggest.
Yeah, that's a monster for sure.
Yeah, those were crazy. They're really hard to work on. So I only want like 5 here, but I want them to be good genetics. So
a nightmare. It's a nightmare to grow huge plants.
They are such a nightmare.
They make good pictures.
They make great pictures.
I know.
They make great pictures.
Great pictures.
But no, I think next year I'm going to do just one big monster plant and just like document like this is how I grow a monster plant, but just one.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that with a pumpkin.
Yeah, pumpkin would be cool too.
The pumpkins are so cool. I don't know how they get them so freaking big. I've not really studied pumpkin growing at all, but I feel like you could probably apply a lot of the things of monster weed plants to monster pumpkins.
Yeah, there's a ton of weed guys that are like obsessed with making monster pumpkins.
You pull all the flower sites off but one.
Oh yeah, I just read that. Recently. And
then they make like little platforms under sand for them. I was following a pumpkin guy recently.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. they rub stuff on them too, so they don't like crack and split. You know.
Yeah, and like if their stem splits, like they're super sad about it, and they like make little tents with like dehums in them, and it's a whole thing. The giant
people get serious with their pumpkins. the pumpkin community is really hardcore.
I know.
Oh yeah, somebody in the chat has the giant pumpkin. I knew it. I knew we had a pumpkin guy here. That's why I had to bring it up. Diggity dank. He's been growing. He's been
How big is it?
Since February. Yeah, post a picture. Proof. I don't know if you can post pictures in the chat, but oh man, he's already
watermelon too. Yeah. Okay. So there's this like the best tire shop in Oklahoma is this like dude that has this tire shop. He lives in a trailer. It's like all these little chihuahuas that run around, and he's like the nicest guy. And he only charges you $5 for any tire work ever. And he's always there. I went there on Easter, and he fixed my shit for $5. But my friend was there, and he's like, "Come look at my." He's like this old hillbilly, and he's like, "Come look at my fridge." And my friend was like, "Oh God!"
Look at my fridge.
He's like, "I don't want to see what's in your fridge."
Oh my God.
And he's like,
"There's heads.
Come here." And he opens it, and he's like, "There's a giant watermelon in it." So he like does a giant watermelon every year. He's like, "Last year mine was like 93 pounds."
That's so cool.
So the watermelon thing is also a thing.
I wonder how they taste.
Right?
If they're still good or if they're like watery.
Kind of like how a zucchini, when they get too big, they don't taste very good. You know, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Zucchinis. I don't grow zucchinis anymore.
There's too many.
There's too many. There's too much zucchini. One zucchini plant. One kale plant.
One.
Yeah, one.
So we talked about guanos and how they're kind of like evil, and I've been like thinking about building a bat house. So because I love the effects. I like bat guano, like using it. I like how my plants respond to it. But again, you know, you're saying heavy metals, and then when you scrape the caves, it literally like ruins the cave ecosystem because they go in there and they literally like scrape out like these bat caves to harvest it. And then there's all these unique organisms, and then bats won't actually come back once they do that. So then I was like, okay, what are people using? Like, how do I get like higher phosphorus content in other things that are like I could grow myself, or I could, make, or, it's not going to be like evil. And so then I started going down and seeing like people make pumpkin ferments. And then I started looking up the different phosphorus levels in different things that you could grow at home. Right. And pumpkins are actually like not even that high compared to freaking barley. Barley looks like super high in phosphorus. And I was like, dang, I'm already using barley. Like, I'm not going to freaking grow a pumpkin, because I was thinking, oh, maybe I could grow some pumpkins and squash and compost and try to do like some kind of focus on phosphorus. But barley has really high phosphorus levels. So I was pretty freaking stoked about that.
So you're mostly like sprouting your barley and then blending it up, right? That's how you.
Not anymore, girl. No, this okay. Don't have time for that.
I know.
I buy it from the brew shop, home brew. They malt it, germinate it, dry it out. It's enzymatically active because it has to be for brewing. And then I ask them really nicely if they'll grind it up for me too, so I don't have to. And then I get it in like 50-pound bags, and it makes it so much easier to scale up to do 500 gallons of barley tea with barley that you just buy from the brew shop.
Sick. So are you like brewing it with like 50 pounds in 500 gallons or something?
No. 50. I do like, it depends on the fineness of the grind, I guess you would say. Like if it's like coarse ground, I'm doing like maybe 5 pounds for 250 gallons of water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Goes so far.
Yeah. I mean, and then I've been playing around with like fine grinding it and doing flour. And I've actually been doing that now in our little indoor. I just do about a tablespoon per gallon, or like half a tablespoon per gallon. So I have like a 50-gallon water tank. I don't know what the math that equals out to, but this time I don't have to put it in a tea bag or a paint strainer. I just put the flour in, and then it just all goes directly into the plants, and it runs through my freaking aero mixer, doesn't clog things up. And it's like, they're getting all of it.
Sweet. That's great.
And it's like 99 cents a pound. So super cheap.
Yeah, that is so cheap. I should look that up. Because getting good phosphorus sources is always like a concern. I think I went down some rabbit holes, and like, I remember seeing some chart of like burnt cantaloupe skins has like some ridiculous amount of phosphorus in it, but you have to burn them. Same with like cucumber skins. I don't know. I wish I could. This was so long ago. So definitely fact check me on that shit.
So
maybe.
Have you two ever used Dr. Duke's phytochemical database? No? Okay, so this is a really cool tool that you two should definitely check out. So it is a collection of the phytochemical profiles of pretty much every plant, right? I'm sure maybe not every plant, but like pretty much every plant on the planet. And you can sort it by specific compounds and filter it by like high ppms and low ppms. So I just went to it and entered phosphorus, and then I sorted it by high ppms, and I came up with a whole bunch of different plants that have the highest ppms of phosphorus, and I posted it in the comments.
Whoa.
Okay, let's see. Filter.
What were some plants?
I mean, they're all the Latin names.
Oh shit.
Abomoscus esculentes.
Vulgus vulgaris or beta vulgaris.
Okra. Okra's number 1. Hell yeah, I'm growing okra next year.
Sweet. Okra grows amazing in Oklahoma, so
they
and the flowers are so pretty.
Oh, and it has a lot of calcium in it too.
So you can do this for like anything. You can enter whatever compound you're looking for, including like phytohormones and stuff like jasmonic acid and,
Oh my God, this is amazing. Thank you so much. This is what I've been looking for.
Isn't that cool? I found that a couple years ago. It's like a staple And then you can get the profile of compounds and look up what each individual one does, like what the organic acids, like their physiological effects that they have on plants, if the information is available. So if it does, lateral bud formation or, stress response or something, you can like look up specific, or you can use it, you can tailor different plant inputs to do it. It would require you to grow all those plants, or hunt them down, which are probably not most likely not native to wherever you are. But you can also find whatever is native to where you are, and enter it in there and see what the phytochemical profile is, and see if it's something that you could use, and then better determine like what stage you could use it in if you decided to ferment it or blend it, which I like to do, the blend and strain, or whatever.
That's my question for you, Luna.
This is like such a gold nugget.
Isn't that cool?
How do you decide what to ferment and what not to ferment? Because I have that question a lot, and I'm not a big fermenter because I don't like the smell. I don't like to deal with it. I always forget.
Here's the deal. So like fermenting stuff. Okay. All right. I don't know how to start this conversation. All right. So biology turns organic compounds into different organic compounds, or at least it can. It can metabolize them, it can stabilize them, or it can convert them into different compounds completely. And you really don't know unless you do like a test with like a chromatograph. So a lot of the times you hear people say like, oh, I made this FPJ of this and I harnessed this hormone or whatever. There's really no way of knowing that unless you like get a chromatograph work done on it. So like in theory, we can kind of like use these things. I figured like blending it and straining it is going to be, or even just like running it through like a press juicer is probably going to be the best way to keep the compounds intact, to utilize them, which is why I've kind of moved away from like FPJs or FPEs when I'm trying to like target specific like organic acids with physiological effects. But I don't really know that. I really don't, I don't know if they're going to stay intact. I don't know if maybe fermenting it with lactobacillus is going to make it better. I don't know if throwing in leaf mold in a bucket and letting it sit for a certain amount of time is going to make it better. I just don't know. And so everyone has their own things, and we kind of just play with it and like notice the physiological response and just kind of go with it. And like, if it works, it works. But I've seen so many sprouted seed teas and stuff that say like they're going to do something and I use it and they do something completely different, or use this at this stage and this at this stage because it has this compound. But I don't know. So to answer your question, you kind of just got to like fuck around and find out. you know,
find out, motherfucker.
We understand, like, sure, there's certain enzymes, that serve certain purposes. You were talking about, like sprouted barley and stuff. And I think those are like really solid approaches. I think chasing phytohormones is, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. A lot of like the phytohormone production is done in the soil by biology, right? And like, we don't know if it's even viable if we use it in this form and introduce it, or even if the plants can like take it up in that form. I think the best thing to do is just focus on root exudates and stuff, like your companion plants. Like the root exudates are what's going to tell the biology what to do and what compounds to make. And as long as your biology is on point and you're not continually fucking with it, then like the rhizophagy cycle is going to like work properly. But I see people continuously introducing, like stuff, biology. And I feel like if you're continually introducing biology, you're not letting the biology and like in the rhizosphere do what it's supposed to be doing, because it's being interrupted by continual sources of whatever you're putting in. So at this point, I'm kind of like less is more. I like to do stuff to my soil when there aren't plants in it, or like if I'm kickstarting the soil, like the beginning of the cycle. But I've kind of moved away from like pumping plants with stuff like during the run. It seems really unpredictable, depending on like what is in your soil, what biology is like dominant in the soil for at that time, for whatever reason, may it be pH or the composition, the change in your nutrient profile, like all of that affects what's going to like live in your soil, like the biology that's going to live in your soil, and like you can't really predict it. It's not like we can put it under a microscope and identify the specific species of bacteria.
I feel like if you like take this approach of, hey, you have a wide variety, have that diversity there, you know, we're composting, we're having a balanced soil, but then introducing things, not biology, not specific microbes, not trying to throw in all of these different blends, but food sources for the biology, because then you're calling them in. So it's like with the phosphorus, high phosphorus, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I know that the malted barley has the enzymes that I'm looking for chop and drop, for breaking down organic matter. It's really good for my soil. It also has the phosphatases, but it's also high in phosphorus itself. So any kind of organism that is looking for those specific compounds are going to be called into it. And that's what I'm like, for me, for phosphorus particularly, I'm just trying to figure out a way of just breaking it down, unlocking it, solubilizing it, making it accessible, because it's one of those that likes to bind to soil particles. So like introducing like a food source instead of a freaking, because the microbes are out there, they're everywhere, right? So instead of trying to like brew something in particular and harness that in a little bucket, like why not just like compost a particular food source that you know is going to attract the species that are going to go after it, and then they're going to create the enzymes that you're looking for that are going to unlock it for the plant.
100%.
Yep. Yeah, I'm way with the less is more situation, and like I don't have time for all the extracts and, you know.
Oh yeah,
I'm really about compost. And trying to feed the soil. And also my soil changes through the entire season. So like temperatures. So it's constantly something different. And trying to like put that in a box that people love to do with cannabis. Like they want this, like they want the formula. And you're like, the formula changes so much.
I want to mention something cool that I've kind of been like looking into. So combinations of specific species of bacteria in combinations with specific organic acids will result in that specific species creating like phytohormones that, you know, can be used by plants. I think that that's probably like the way to go about playing with like phytohormones. But so Pseudomonas species in combination with tryptophan and malic acid will produce indoleacetic acid. And there's like a whole bunch of different things like that. But that's something to play with. I've been talking to AI about it actually, because it's such a difficult thing to look into. But yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there.
I like to make AI answer me like it is the thing that I'm talking about. Like,
really? How do you talk that?
I'm like, from the perspective of like, you're the bacteria or you're whatever.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
That's so
I
good.
told my husband last night, I was like, you know, I think AI is my best friend. I think I talk to ChatGPT more than I talk to anybody else right now.
So true. I've stopped
useful though.
Questions. Yeah. What have you used it for? What have you two used it for?
Oh my God, I use it for social media a lot. I've really been slacking on my socials, but also just general like organizing things. I'm like, make me this chart of this. I'm not that into it, but I'm trying to be. I really want to be into AI, like harness the power of it. But that's cool, like asking it about all these like chemical compounds, because who the hell do you ask that to?
Right.
Sometimes I ask it for the sources or the references though, and I'm like, okay, give me a list, and then I'll look it up, and some of it isn't verifiable.
So there's Scholar AI too. So you can have it go through like Google Scholar, which has access to all these different research papers and stuff.
Yeah, I use Google Scholar for sure, but how do you turn AI on to only using Google Scholar?
It's called Scholar AI.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I like to use it for helping me with business plans, marketing. I'm like, how can I market? What is my newsletter? What's the marketing campaign for this newsletter? Or I freaking got my real estate license. Oh, that's a nightmare. Fucking real estate sucks. But I did it because I want to buy.
I was wondering. Like, how's that house hustling going?
Well, I'm looking for buying myself land. So that's really, I was like, oh, I could save $8,000 or $10,000 buying land by getting my own real estate license. You know what I mean? So I ask it about real estate because I don't have time to learn about real estate. So I just ask AI. Hasn't helped so far because I haven't sold a house. So
Not yet.
Not yet. I haven't really. But I did look and I found a piece of land that I really, really, really want to buy. So we're gonna go look at it tomorrow, and I'm really excited.
Ooh, that's so exciting. What state?
I know, Washington. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up staying here. But 7 acres, south-facing hill. I can plant in the ground. Oh, I'm so excited. No more freaking smart pots. Just kidding. I love you, smart pots. Thank you for sending me free stuff.
Oh my god.
I know. I said something negative about fabric pots on Instagram or something. I was like talking shit because I was like, I can't wait to fucking get rid of these things. And a lot of people got very offended. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not like saying that they're like awful. They're like, someone literally told me you just don't know how to grow.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh my god, like yes I do. Yep. I still hate it. I know how to grow in it and I just hate it. But I mean the comments I get on the internet are like, oh gosh, that keeps me away from the internet.
Dude.
Yeah, you can't say anything negative on the internet about anything.
I have a big, I'm not going to name who it is, but a big Instagram account that was like lurking my account and then just started talking shit on one of my posts. And, you know, I'm always like half naked and like half of my pictures. I don't care. I like being out in the sun in the nude with my son. And somebody said something about it. Exactly. And it's this big account that is very looked up to in the regenerative cannabis community. And then they proceeded to like send me DMs privately telling me how I am like basically disgracing women by showing my body. And I was just like, dude, like you guys are like some old people, get out of my business. Why are you even, why? I just kept being nice. And I'm just like, I fucking hate the internet, man.
Yeah. Say it to my face. Right? I'll be here.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, fuck around and find out. Yeah. That's usually like if someone's like super negative, I'm like, well, I'll be at this event and we can talk about it. And then nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get people who like just won't leave me the fuck alone. They want to just talk to me. I'm like, please, like I don't know you. Like stop asking me personal questions. Like we're never gonna meet, we're never gonna date. Like just go away. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you're babe.
Are you talking about me?
I am. Yeah. I mean, no, of course not.
I know all these bitches in my DM.
We can meet up. I'll hang out with you, Alex. I'll meet up with you.
I never want to like DM you guys too much and be annoying. I'm like, I'll like.
You're completely welcome to hit me up whenever you want. Like, I'm happy to talk to friends. But like,
yeah,
it's when dudes are like, hey baby, like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking
what?
Laying in bed, like watching a movie. Like, leave me alone. Like,
I'm like, here's my Venmo. Here's my Cash App.
Yeah, here's my Venmo.
Usually I'll just be like, okay, well, here's my Patreon link. And if you want to like ask questions, join my Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
Schedule a Cash App appointment.
I send them a request.
Yeah, so do you guys get, I mean, I'm sure you do too, because like a lot of people just like asking questions in your DMs, like, how do I do this? How do I do this? Like, where's the line that you guys draw with like giving out advice?
I try to help with everything.
Yeah.
I give a little tidbit, like a little snack. Mm-hmm. Like, here's a bite of what I can help you with. Sign up for my Patreon. Then I'll help you with the rest.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. That's something I struggle with. Because it takes a lot of time to like reply to like all these DMs and stuff and like all these questions, and I'm like always like, could you just call me? Because then I can like still work on plants and stuff. Because I'm like working on plants all the time, and that like pisses me. It either works really good or doesn't work really good.
Yeah, but then you have them calling, and then you don't know. Like me, when I called you, I talked to you on the phone for like an hour and a half.
I love that. I love talking on the phone. Like it's like a podcast
with my friends.
I won't talk to people I meet online on the phone.
Oh yeah. Usually like my friend now, she's like, you gotta like schedule like $200 an hour and like make them schedule it to like talk to you on the phone. And I'm like,
right.
Solid advice.
I've done that. I've done like consulting through people, like on the internet,
consulting
like,
gigs.
Talk. Then I'll be like, yeah, it's $200 an hour. So
yeah, that makes sense. But
yeah. You can call me anytime, Kimmie, or I'll call you.
We can Great, yeah, call me anytime. I'm seriously with plants like all the time. Like I'm like in the middle of planting a greenhouse right now.
What are you gonna grow? What flavors?
I got a bunch of random shit right this round. Peaches and cream, blue cookie, some Bubba Kush, old school. Says about that one. And then some of my like strains that I've been growing forever. So Fatso, which does really good in Oklahoma. It's kind of just like anything that does good and produces, I've like kept around. So Fatso, I like grow a lot of it, but it does so good. And then some Flirty 3, some Moose Tracks, which is a strain, is Girl Scout Cookie times Legend OG. Some random, but it's so heavy. Like the pounds, like if you ever grew Girl Scout Cookie back in the day, like the pounds were like little footballs. It's like that, which is always kind of fun.
You would get so much more for Girl Scout cookies back in the day. You're like, yeah, it doesn't yield that much. I need to mark it up like 25% more.
I grew so much fucking Girl Scout cookie. It's great.
I really liked animal cookies. Do you ever grow animal cookies?
I haven't grown it.
I really like.
What is that? Girl Scout and Gorilla Glue?
Fire OG.
Fire OG. I did grow Fire fucking OG. I hated it.
It's pretty awesome.
Is Animal Mints animal cookies crossed with Kush Mints?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I feel like I grew Animal Mints once.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Of course it is, you know. I mean, it probably is. I don't know.
I'm guessing. That's just like, you know, a guess, but those sound cool. I would like to try. I'm trying some new strains actually that I have never grown before. And London jelly. I'm really excited for this London jelly. I don't even know very much about it, but it looks beautiful. I can't wait. I love trying new strains, you know, bringing something new in. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. I want to like redo my entire genetic library right now. But finally, you know, I have the things that work. So it's like, shit. It took me 2.5 years of like going through like 50 strains of eliminating that grow well in Oklahoma greenhouse. So, but now I'm like, I'm bored. I want something new.
What's your humidity like there?
Gnarly. So through like July and August, it is like 90 to 100% humidity. And it will drop in the day if it's like 110 degrees outside, or 100 degrees. So it'll say like in the summer, like 90, but feels like 105 because of the humidity. So I use shade cloth on like everything through the summer, lots of fans. But, I don't have a
really difficult to deal with. It's going to be really difficult to deal with fungal problems with that kind of humidity.
Yeah, so that's why I use the xeritol like pretty religiously through those months, because you just got to fight it. And I don't have like fancy greenhouses. Like my greenhouses are very minimal, just like high tunnels. So now so they're external depth, and then we actually made it so that the clear plastic can roll all the way to the peak too. So they're basically just outside most summer, and then with shade cloth over them. So barely in plastic, just to have the max amount of airflow. Because like people have wet walls and like people have really fancy greenhouses out here. And they're still having just as many issues, if not more, like with the wet walls and the humidity. It doesn't really work because they're basically giant swamp coolers.
Yeah.
And people, I don't know. I have a lot of opinions on salesmen and greenhouses and the bells and whistles and what you actually need to grow weed. Because like you can have a $200,000 greenhouse and still suck at growing.
Heard that.
I've seen it.
Something that I've been like really wanting to experiment with and play with, and it would work really well in Oklahoma instead of a water wall, a paraffin wax wall, because paraffin wax has like is one of the highest phase change materials, like higher than water. And so it moderates temperature way more effectively. And I was taking some LEED classes, which is like leader in energy efficiency and design for architecture, and learning how buildings can be more green, more energy efficient. And I learned about this paraffin wax. And we were building a greenhouse at the time, and I was just like, oh, I wonder if I could put in the north wall instead of like the water wall. They make this like for insulation, like strips of packets of paraffin wax attached to it. And so the idea is that the paraffin, phase changes from liquid to solid, and it moderates the temperature really well without giving off any humidity like the water wall does. So that might be a cool thing to like play with.
That is so cool. Yeah, I think in India they have like these wax. I swear, like in some random thing, I've seen something with wax and cooling systems. But also like geothermal would be like ideal as well. But I don't think I can even dig down in my ground like 6 feet to get geothermal tubes in there.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
But I want to put it in a pond, so then do like geothermal air tubes or like water tubes through a pond to do cooling too. There's a lot of harebrained ideas that I would love to do to try to make things work. Because I had a greenhouse in Maine that I designed a whole like an 8-foot climate battery system for. So I'm really into to making greenhouses like super efficient.
What is a 8-foot climate battery? What is that?
So the climate battery, they're called like GAT systems too, GHAT. So this one's just like this one I made. It was going to be under the greenhouse or like under the ground, and so in Maine it freezes like really deep in the ground. So I was going to have a set of tubes. Have you ever seen geothermal systems, like for warming or cooling for greenhouses?
Oh yeah, like the tubes running through the beds.
Yeah, so there's like tubes, so there's like layers of tubes. So there's like a whole layer under the entire greenhouse buried with manifolds in the middle. So it's like this huge manifold system where you have layers of 2, 6, and 8 feet. And you have to have the right amount of tubes for how much like square footage of air you have. So you have to have the whole system like calculated out to make sure it works. And then you take your hot air in. So in the summer when it's super hot, you take your hot air in, it goes through the climate battery. The hot air does a heat exchange with the ground around it, stores, and then that ground stores it and comes out like way cooler air, like could be a 10 to 20 degrees difference in the summer. And then in the winter, it does the opposite, since the ground stays at 55 degrees year round. So then when it's freezing out, you're putting cold air through, it's heating it up, and you're getting hot air out.
Cool.
So there's
You built one?
Really? I didn't. I literally got every single material, and then it was like a breakup situation, and I left.
Oh man.
I left the greenhouse on the farm.
You.
I had like every single tube. I know. I hope he builds it. I built the I was breaking ground. We built an entire French drain system around the building area, but it is a dream of mine.
That is awesome. It's all about biology. Our channel says there's a community in Canada that has done it and it works. I've heard of all kinds of really cool ways of doing air exchange or heat exchange for moderating temperature in cold season or cold locations or warm locations, depending on where you're living. It just takes a little harebrained ideas and ingenuity and trying to figure it out, because it costs a lot of fucking money to run, all of these ACs, DHUMs, fans, just electricity in general. And if you can figure out how to harness the power of whatever it is you have naturally, that's amazing. I mean, here it's so fucking cold up by the freaking Canadian border. And I am thinking for next year, when I manifest this property, that I will do some cold frames, but I was thinking a cold frame hoops. So cinder blocks built into the wall, north or south facing, 45-degree angle, so that the sun is hitting it all day. You do cinder blocks lined with, that insulation board that has the reflective, you can get panels of it. You line that in the cold frame, and then you line wood around that, and then the actual PVC hoops that you'd hold your greenhouse up, fill with water as well, or I guess I could do paraffin freaking wax, something like that.
Yeah.
But then the whole system is moderating itself without it passively, and it's just there's just there's a lot of cool things.
There's so many cool things that you can do. Yeah, you should look into passive solar greenhouses, and then also there's this dude, greenhouses in the snow. If you go down that rabbit hole, he is this old dude in Nebraska that built these greenhouses, and they have the air tubing systems, and they're passive solar. They're super systems, and he's growing mango trees in Nebraska through the winter, and there doesn't have any extra heating, and just really cool nerdy building stuff.
That's cool.
That you can I'm really into that stuff.
I met a woman who grew in a cold frame in Truckee when I lived up there all year round with 8 feet of snow. And she just took off December to February because she needed a break from gardening. She was like, I have tomatoes and cucumbers and things coming out of my eyeballs all year round because of just, these passive solar ways to harness the energy of the sun passively. And snow is actually a really good insulation, if you have the system in place.
Yeah. Someone needs to give me a lot of money so I can make all these systems. No, you can do this for way cheaper though. You don't need a lot of money.
Lily says there's a hotel that was popular over 100 years ago, and it had a system where they did geothermal using a nearby lake to both heat and cool the building. It's been around for a long time. That's awesome. I've heard of people doing huge compost piles for heating their barns in the winter and bringing in their animals and using the heat from the thermophilic compost to, just keep things warm, keep it going, keep their chickens and stuff. All kinds of things you can do to harness, and that's harnessing the power of the bacteria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is amazing. Do you guys like hot compost, or what's your favorite way to make compost?
She likes the black soldier fly and the worm compost.
I'm a big fan of insect composting, mesophilic breakdown. I'm not a big thermophilic composting person.
And I like the thermophilic when I have animals. Like right now, I don't do thermophilic. Right now, I do worm and bokashi. But when I have goats, chickens, 5 dogs, whatever, I have a lot of animals around and bedding, I'm all about the thermophilic.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like
my way's better though than Alex.
The compost wars.
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I had to.
Fuck that hot shit.
It's the compost wars.
I've been seeing those soldier fly tote things where they like the little tote kits. Have you seen those where they like crawl up and then like the chickens get all the
Yeah, those are cool.
You know what I'm talking about?
They have like a little ramp. Like the larva will like climb up the ramp to try to, I don't know, do something, and then they fall into like a bin to be collected or fall into the chicken feed, whatever.
Yeah, chickens. Yeah. Freaking man, I've got fungus gnats everywhere right now, and it's not fungus gnats, fruit flies fucking flying around bothering me. I've got a horde of fruit flies from fucking composting, and I'm like,
because of all that thermophilic composting.
My worms aren't keeping up. I need more worms. They're just freaking letting the fruit flies proliferate, and then it's like opening up the worm bin. It's like, my face is like getting like
oh my god,
it's disgusting.
These are like the things that people do not talk about when it's like compost. Like, let's talk about the shit.
The fruit flies.
Yeah, the fruit
like
flies.
Smells, like the
fucking trichoderma
smells.
Yes. So they brought in the trichoderma into my monotub. Somehow the fruit flies from my worm bin outside came into my mushroom monotub in my room. And I'm like, how did a fruit fly get in there? And then all of a sudden there's like 100 fruit flies in there. And then there's trichoderma everywhere because the fucking fruit flies were born in a rotting fruit covered in trichoderma. It's just, I've given up on mushroom growing in this vicinity. It's just not happening. I'm not clean enough for mushroom growing. I'm covered in trichoderma.
I know. I did like a tissue culture lab in my house in Maine. I was not clean enough.
Yeah, that's hard.
And that you have to
dirty.
I tried. I didn't try that hard. I tried like once. I tried like a round.
You need a laminar flow head for all that stuff.
Yeah, I've heard you can just like, have your oven on and then the door open and you can work above your oven because the hot air is coming up, it rises and it keeps things from falling into your space. And if you're working in that still air box, but how can you stop the fruit flies from coming and sneaking in if they've got trichoderma on them? It's just... I'd have to buy a whole new grow tent and set it up. And I'm just really not into growing mushrooms that much. Like, it's fun, but they're just it's not my thing. For one, you have to be around there.
You're on mute.
Unmute.
So you might actually have to jump off and jump back on because when you walked away and unplugged, I think that's what caused it. So jump off, jump back on.
There's a little button down here too.
Down low, where it says leave studio, to the left, it's mute.
Yeah, you should be able to just click it.
Okay, well, we lost her.
It's because she actually unplugged her headset. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't going to work. She's going to have to just jump back on.
Okay. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Good. I'm just reading these comments over here. It's very hard for me to read the comments and continue talking because then I get stuck on what they're saying. So I'm just gonna not read the comments right now. But
now and then. I finally figured out how to comment after.
I saw. Congratulations. Yay. I need to save that. Oh, see, this guy is validating that everyone is covered in trichoderma. It's not just me. I'm not just a dirty girl that for every hair on your body, there's equal amount of trichoderma. So that's just my immune system helping me out so I don't get a fungal pathogen.
Okay, sorry.
You're back. I can hear you.
Is this working?
Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Maybe she
Okay,
can't hear us.
we can hear you. So check your mic, your earpiece setting.
Luna, play some of your music. This should be the interlude where you have some of your D&B going.
Sorry.
Wait, play. I could just DJ right here. I got my turntables right here.
Yes. Come on.
Oh, they can hear me.
I listened to your dinosaur mix.
My dinosaur,
party.
yeah.
Yes,
You like it?
yes, I did like it.
Cool.
I had a dance party.
I
with
see
my
you guys
son.
talking shit, but I can't hear you. What is happening?
Can you hear us? I guess not.
Well,
No, she can't hear us. We can hear her. She can't hear us.
oh, and I got the feedback again.
Oh, okay. I got y'all back. We're good.
Maybe we only have like 5 minutes left. Maybe we should try to wrap it up. Answer questions. Go to questions.
Yeah, questions. Let's hear questions from the audience.
Okay, we got the echo again, but that's okay. How do you use the rabbit manure? Do you hot compost it first? Spread it.
So the rabbit manure I use is like from this giant rabbit farm. So it's like in big piles. So it comes in pretty hot, but rabbit's a cold compost, so you don't need to actually like have it compost for 6 months or to a year like chicken or dairy cows or whatever. So I just I spread it over. I use about 3 yards per greenhouse, and that's just throw it on, and it does amazing. It's really high. Has a really high MPK, so like usually like a 223 for compost, which is really good.
Whose dog was
That
that?
was so scary.
That was my dog. Sorry. I tried to stop it, but it was too late. He's talking to mom. He's talking to his mom upstairs going, you just brought me in. Why didn't you bring me a treat, you know? So we'll go to the next question. Do you inoculate your biochar first? And with what, if so, compost, rabbit manure?
I do not. I just throw it on. Sometimes I'll throw it on with the rabbit manure. It's just kind of timing. I'm kind of like a sloppy farmer.
That's okay. You
just
let
like
the plants.
compost, do the thing, and then if I have biochar, I throw it on.
Keep it simple. Honestly,
yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. You know, like I feel like people overcomplicate it a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before.
Yeah,
I've
I don't have time.
it.
I think a lot of people love their plants to death.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
yeah,
just give it a
How
break.
about avocado tech?
I had an argument with my husband. What is avocado tech? Is it technique? Is it avocado technical? Is it avocado technology? What is it?
Who wants to answer
but you've
that?
seen it, right? Have you seen the avocado tech?
You put it on your soil, right? And then the worms come to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the question about that, I guess? Is like, do you use it or like
Maybe just like what are our thoughts on it? I have thoughts on it.
share your thoughts?
So first we'll go over, you know, what I understand avocado tech to be, where like people will take avocados and they'll take all the stuff out and they'll blend it and then they'll mix it with like different amendments or whatever, and then put it back in the husk of the avocado and put it on top of their beds, right? And then the earthworms come to the avocado and they eat whatever amendments are inside of it, including the avocado guacamole amendment stuff. I don't see how it's going to benefit the plants any more than just throwing amendments on your soil and you're just adding fresh organic matter to your soil to break down, and you're probably going to end up with isopods. And I see people with doing that kind of stuff where they're throwing fresh fruit directly on the top of their soil. They always end up with tons of isopods, and like fungus gnats and breathability issues. And like there's someone on the internet and on Instagram who did like a really elaborate one, and like, you know, has tons of followers and all this stuff, and like things just don't look good. Like things don't look good. And I see people like, you can pull it off and like you can do it, and like, yeah, there's worms in it and it looks really cool. But living soil is really resilient, and so like you can do stuff and not like completely fuck it up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything good. And like just because it looks cool doesn't necessarily mean it's beneficial. You know, like it's like the root thing. Like just because your plants are root bound doesn't mean that your plants are healthy or that they're going to do good for you. You know, just because all the worms came to this one spot, like why would you want all your worms in one spot? Like I want tons of worms all the way throughout my bed, aerating my entire bed, eating the amendments that I put in my soil. I don't want them to come to an avocado. And if I want to introduce more amendments, I'll just evenly distribute it over the top of the bed. I can put significantly more in it than if I mixed it in a fucking avocado. Sorry, that's my...
Yep.
Luna's breaking it down.
That's my
I love how you fucking put that. I love...
Like, why?
Yeah.
Because of the fats? Then add
Why?
fats. Yeah, avocado's got good fats. Great. A lot of things have good fats. Add good fats to your water and water it in.
Yeah.
I guess if you like have an avocado that you let rot, like
Sure.
But
Totally.
not,
You know?
I don't do it. Definitely not in the program.
That's part of my weekly schedule, you guys. I can't believe you're talking so much shit. I cut an avocado and I do this once a week.
Nuh-uh.
No, I've never done this before. I didn't even know that you put amendments in it. I thought that people were just sticking avocados on their soil. I had no idea that there was a whole process behind it. So
it looks cool because it looks cool, and Instagram likes it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to the last question, ladies. How late in your grow can you use the xeritol during a grow? I have a horrible PM problems in my area.
Oh, you can use xeritol like all the way through flower.
I would ask the manufacturer.
Yeah. I am on I talk to the BioSafe guys a lot, or in the past, not really anymore, but you can use it all the way through flower. I don't, but if I do see any issues in like July or August, I will spray lightly under the leaf. But they can recommend you can use it up to the day of harvest. And I do know some people that spray it right before they harvest. Which
interesting.
I don't think it's like bad, just a hydrogen peroxide.
It's hydrogen peroxide and what, phosphoric acid? Is that what I can't remember. I was looking up the two products that
No, that's oxyphos.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. That is oxyphos. Xeritol is just H2O2. It's just hydrogen peroxide. So basically, hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. So oxygen has a tendency to want to off gas. It'll just separate out. So you end up with just water because one of those oxygen molecules will separate off. So that's why, hydrogen peroxide is like one of those safe things to use, especially for septic. So anybody who's living on a septic, using bleach is really bad for your bacteria and your microbes in your septic system. So H2O2 is a great alternative for bleach. And so like cleaning like your grow room or whatever it is with the H2O2 is way better.
Yeah, that's like what I use for cleaning everything, basically.
Cool.
Besides tools, because you gotta use bleach for the, HLVD.
Yeah, motherfucking HL hop latent virus. God damn you. That's where you got to do the tissue culture cloning and get that lab going again and figure out the, refresh your genetics once a year. That's what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah,
Really,
purple caper. He tissue cultures
Wow.
once a year, all of his genetics, because it's just there. It's so prevalent, at least in California. It's like over 60% of the genetics out there are infected with some type of virus.
Holy shit.
I know, sad.
That's crazy.
It's a problem for sure. Which
Plant,
a problem a lot of people are just ignoring, but just another thing to add to like.
I just saying get it. Oh,
sorry. I was just saying you probably shouldn't ignore it. People, because you said people ignore it. And I said you probably should
ignore it. Ignore it and
until you get it.
Who smoked a joint before the podcast? Okay.
Dude, I've been eating these mushroom gummies and I don't know how they get me high. I'm like, they've got Delta 8 in them, I think. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know that this is legal to send this in the mail. Like, I mean, you know, who cares about that? But it's like a legal, legitimate business. Send me all these mushroom gummies and I eat them every day because they make me feel so good. But I'm like, damn, I'm like high and I didn't even smoke yet. Yep.
That's great.
So I didn't smoke a joint then. Yeah, seriously.
It was just the giggles, okay? It was the giggles.
Yep.
So we're at the hour and a half. Would you ladies, do you all have to go? You want to keep going? It's up to you, ladies.
I'm hungry.
I gotta let my cat in.
I got a plant.
In other words, everybody, we're done for the day. Catch us next week. We know who's going to be on with you ladies next week yet.
Have you talked to Chris Trump?
Oh, I could talk to him. No, but yeah, maybe that would be cool.
Okay. We'll see you next week. We've got Ben from Acadian Farms on with Leighton Morrison. I'm not sure if Av's back from India yet, but he's coming in on Monday, and you guys had him on here a few weeks ago as well. So if anybody didn't catch that show, you're going to want to catch that one. Go back in the playlist. Other than that, ladies, wonderful show. Kimmie, thank you so much for coming. I've learned a lot from you.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, thanks. Yeah, this was really fun. Good to see y'all.
Yes, I love you.
Love y'all.
With that,
really
everybody go
to hang
peace
out.
and I'm going to end the broadcast.